Hello viewers, I welcome you once again to my channel where we simplify literature in O and A level syllabus, and we also analyze the literature set books on the current syllabus. So this video we are going to look at the aspects of literature, and the first aspect is plot. Aspect number one is plot. Plot refers to the movement of events in a story or literary work. So plot refers to the movement of events in a story. The second aspect is character. Now a character is a person who takes part in a story. So a character is a person, animal, or idea taking part in a story. So different books have different characters, so it is the writer who chooses the characters to use in his or her book. Now some of the examples of characters in the current syllabus are in Weep Not Child we have Ngotho, we have Nyokabi, we have Kamau, we have Cory, Boro, Mr. Hollands, we have Susanna, we have Stephen Hollands, and we have Njeri. For characters in the Hadsuthas by Sylvester Onzivua, currently on the O-level syllabus, some of the characters or the people involved in that play are, we have Minnie, we have Jimmy, we have Rachel, Jimmy's sister, we have Patrick, Jimmy's friend, we have Florence, a friend to Minnie, we have Jogo, the taxi driver, we have Jogo, we have Ia, Jimmy's mother, so we have Jez, the university girl, who has an affair with Jimmy, and then we have the native doctor, Jaja. So those are some of the characters in the play The Hadsuthas by Sylvester. Some of the other characters that we have in another novel on the A-level syllabus is Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. So some of the characters in Tess of the D'Urbervilles are Teresa Durbeyfield, and we have John Durbeyfield, we have Joan, we have Lisa Lou, we have Alec Durbeyfield, we have Angel Clare, we have Reverend Clare, we have Is Hewitt, Marianne, the milkmaids. So we have so many people who are taking part in that novel. Then in the Moon also sets, we have Chris, we have Pa Okolo, and we have Uncle Ben, we have Mama Ijoma, we have Mama Obi, we have Father Damien. So all those are examples of characters in the literary books or in the novels and plays that we read on the current syllabus. That was the second aspect, which is character. Aspect number one was plot. Aspect number two is character, the people taking part in the story. And number three is characterization. Now, characterization refers to someone's traits that define their personality or behavior. So characterization are the traits that define someone's personalities. For example, kind, someone can be kind, another person can be harsh, cruel, mean, another person can be respectful, another can be indisciplined, another can be violent, another person can be strong-willed, another one can be a coward, another can be foolish, another can be intelligent or wise, another can be social friendly, another can be inquisitive. So all those are examples of words that describe someone's character traits. Number four, the third aspect is themes. Now themes are the recurring ideas in any literary work. Themes are recurrent ideas in a novel or a play or a story. So themes are the recurring ideas. So different writers decide to use different themes for their books. For example, a writer can choose to write about corruption. Another one can choose to write about family or tradition. Another one can choose to write about the theme of fate. Another one can choose to write about love. Another one can write about suffering. Another can write about poverty as a theme. Another person can choose to write about racism. Another one can choose to write about crime. See, so different writers can write about different themes in their books. They can choose different themes for their books depending on what they want to write about. So another aspect number 5, is setting. So setting refers to the places where events happen in a novel or a play. Setting refers to the places where events happen in a novel or a play. So any place where any event happens in a novel or a play is referred to as setting. Places where events happen, for example, it could be a fight at the Boer Hall or at the well. Another setting can be in the living room. Another can be at the roadside. Another can be in the office, on the veranda, at the marketplace, at the kitchen, in the compound. So different places where events happen is what is referred to as setting. Then the next one is, the next aspect of literature are the stylistic devices. Now, stylistic devices are tools that the writers use to bring out their messages. Stylistic devices are figures of speech or tools that writers use to bring out their message in their books or literary works. For example, different writers can choose to use different stylistic devices to bring out their message. So different writers use different tools to bring out their message. For example, a writer can choose to use use of juxtaposition. So juxtaposition is the same as use of contrast. All these are stylistic devices. Another writer can choose to use symbolism. Another can use imagery, and we have 5 types of imagery. Another writer can choose to use personification. Another writer can choose to use irony. Another writer can choose to use the style of allusion. Another one can use paradox. Another one oxymoron. There are very many. Another one can use flashback. Another one can use euphemism. Another one can decide to use sarcasm. There is also use of local dialect, where there are some books whereby they sometimes bring in use of local language. So that is use of local dialect, symbolism, all those. So different writers can use different stylistic devices or tools to bring out their message in their novels or plays. Then next, another aspect is lessons. So lessons is something from which someone learns. So a lesson is something that someone learns from maybe a certain situation. And when we are answering lessons, we use moral statements and proverbs. In literature, when answering lessons, we use moral statements and proverbs when answering lessons, whether in O and A level. In all levels, either O and A level, when answering lessons, we use proverbs and moral statements. For example, think twice before you act. A stitch in time saves 9. Not all that glitters is gold. Appearances are deceptive. Revenge is futile. It is wrong to fight others. Children should respect their parents. Tradition can coexist with modernity. So all those can be lessons that we can learn from any book. So in literature, One of the major functions of literature are for moral. We teach literature for moral edification, to teach morals to the readers who read the literature books. So the main functions of literature is 1, moral edification, 2, entertainment. So every literature book that you read, we expect you to learn something positive from it. That is why in literature they usually ask, what lessons do you learn, either from a poem that has been given to you, or a passage, or a play, or a novel. They usually ask that question to do with lessons. And when we are answering lessons, we use proverbs and moral statements. So they expect you to learn something from it. So that is lessons. Then relevance. Relevance means how useful, important, or applicable, or similar is something that you have read in the book to your real life situation. How similar is any event in the book to your society? Now that is relevance. So they usually ask this question in literature, that how relevant is the novel Weep Not Child to your society, or how relevant is Taste of the Daba Vines to your society, or how relevant is the Heart Soothers to your society. So when they ask you such a question, they are simply meaning what issues or ideas have you read in the book that are also happening in real life. So that is simply the meaning of relevance to society. Then, for example, most of the books that we read on the syllabus have similar situations that are also happening in our society. For example, if we go to the Heart Soothers, cheating in relationships, couples cheating on each other. Now that is relevance. It is also relevant to our society. Couples cheating on each other, poverty, suffering. So most of the ideas that they write about in these literature books, we are also seeing them in our society. Then, lastly, feelings. Feelings is the last aspect. They can give you a poem or extract, and then they can ask you, what does this poem make you feel? Or how do you feel after reading this poem or this extract? And when we are answering feelings questions, we do not say, I feel sad or I feel bad. We don't mention the word feel in our answers. We use I am or I hate, I dislike, I love the way Mary cares for the other children. So when you're answering feelings questions, do not say I feel. Don't add the word feel in your answer. So feelings are the emotional reactions of people depending on the situations they are facing. Examples of what describe feelings are fear, hope, sadness, guilt, anger, sorrow. So all those words can describe someone's emotions. And of course, they usually ask this question in poetry. When they give you an extract, they can ask you, how does this poem make you feel? So we expect you to say, I am disappointed I am disappointed in Jeremiah for stealing the friend's bag. So that is how we answer. So this video specifically was looking at the main aspects of literature, and most of the questions in literature rotate around these aspects. Most of the questions in literature, should I say 99.9%, most of the questions rotate around the aspects of literature. If they do not ask you to describe the plot, they will choose at least a main character in the book and tell you to describe that person's character traits as an essay question. If not, they can ask you to explain the themes in either a novel or a play that you have read on the syllabus, or they can ask you to describe the setting or how effective has the writer used setting to bring out their message. They can either ask you for what lessons have you learned from that book that you have read, If not, the relevance, how relevant is the book or the set book that you have read to your society. So in literature, for you to answer the questions properly, you need to understand these aspects, what they are, because all the questions in literature that they ask usually rotate around these aspects. So if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe and follow for more videos, because on this channel we explain the literature set books on the syllabus, and we simplify literature for every reader or every student who offers literature in both O and A level out there.